Richard de Clare is the second Earl of Pembroke, and it's believed that he built a castle on the site of the place that I am now. I've come today to Kilkenny Castle to have a look at their gardens, the parkland that's behind the castle and the formal garden area where I'm standing now. We're going to explain the difference between the two, and we'll have a look at some of the fabulous plants that are on offer. For the historians amongst us, Richard de Clare is better known in Ireland as Strongbow. So as I say, Strongbow it was who constructed the first castle here sometime in the 12th century. And the Anglo-Normans established some kind of presence here around the end of the 12th century. And they turned what was, they believe, a wooden structure into the start of the edifice we have here today. But where I am in terms of our gardens is in the formal garden of the castle. When you come in the main entrance and you look to your left, you see the castle, and behind that is the formal area, and to your right will be the garden itself. Now you can see the formal area is very formal, and a formal garden is one that is structured in terms of their shape. So where I'm looking at here, we're standing right in front of the fountain. If you drew a line from where I am to the front door of the castle, then both sides should mirror each other. And in theory, if you draw a line from any point to its opposite point through that fountain, it should mirror itself over. Now that isn't entirely true, but what is definitely true of a formal garden is that it has balance, which you don't find usually in nature. In terms of, if you allowed this place to go wild, there isn't a hope in hell that it would end up like this. Not a hope. Now these are mostly, for the most part, rose gardens, so we're really at the wrong time of the year to see them in full bloom. So it would be nice to come back maybe next spring, next summer, when they are in flower, to see them, because roses are nothing but a bunch of thorny sticks for 7 months of the year. But when they are in flower, and you get the scent of them, they are really spectacular. You can see the trees also are starting to go off in colour. So we're hitting the best time of the year, or the second best time of the year, for me anyway, which is the autumn time. So we'll have a look around and we'll see the plants that are on offer in the parkland. But you can see, now you can use formal concepts in your own garden at home. And balance things up. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's no doubt that it works well in areas that have space and size, and they have the room to put in shapes like this, and they can look really, really spectacular. On a previous episode of the Contrary Fuchsia, I did mention the yew tree, and this is another Taxus baccata fastigiata, the one that grows upright and is originally from County Fermanagh. But this is planted as part of a planting scheme. It's only got 3 plants in it. So it's got Taxus baccata, the upright yew. It's got the box, Buxus and Brevirons, and that Nepeta, which is catmint. So only 3 plants there. And look at how effective it is. Now it is more suited to formal gardening than it is to maybe a more informal space, but you can use them in an informal space as well. And we just have a look at the ash tree. Actually, it's not ash; it's pseudo-acacia. So that's an acacia rather than ash. From a distance, it caught me as well. It looks like ash. You can see the shape of the leaves, but it isn't. That's Robinia pseudo-acacia. So that's interesting. This blue tree in front of me is Cedrus atlantica glauca. And glauca, if you've looked at the video on naming plants, means the plant is blue, and it's blue. It stays that colour as it matures, as it stays small, or as it stays juvenile, and as it grows up. And this one certainly will grow up. At the moment, it's somewhere in the region of 3 metres, probably not 3 metres, but it will grow to 10 times that size and probably 10 times the spread. It's an enormous, absolutely stunning tree. If you ever get to Cambridge Botanical Gardens in the UK, in front of the gardens, there is the most magnificent example of one of those trees. Not for your small garden. Remember what I said, that some of these trees are lovely to look at, they're lovely in a pot, and you think you keep them small. You can keep them small by keeping them cut back, but you know what? There are other plants that you can use, and we'll come across them in other journeys through the Caltreri fuchsia. Try not to lose the shape of a tree, and plant it properly. Do the research and plant it properly first, and then you won't have to cut them back. Here is a perfect example of the yew hedge clipped, and you can see the height of it there. It's somewhere in the region of 2 meters high, and you can keep it kept smaller. So it does need a bit of care and maintenance. It does need to be clipped at the right time of the year, but you can see the fine thick hedge that it does make. It's I mean, I'd say the berries are poisonous, but you know what? Nobody's going to eat them really. Nobody's going to go picking them and putting them in a fruit salad. So I wouldn't worry about it. If you wanted a hedge, lovely formal dark green hedge, then yew is the way to go. Here in Kilkenny, if you go to the website, and it really is a great website, because you can download fact sheets and kind of little action sheets, and they tell you all about what goes on around here, and they're big into nature from what I can see. And here on the trees are little bird boxes, and this is a really great idea, because it's a great thing for children, because they can come down to an area like this and they have their little fact sheet, and then they can see, now obviously not this time of the year, because a lot of our swifts and swallows they're all leaving, because they've gone to the warmer weather. But earlier on in the year, you'll see all sorts of birds going in and out of these. And there are also places where you can see there are apiaries here. So have a look around. If you're ever down this side, download the fact sheets and bring the children with you. And you really will learn a little bit about nature as you walk around. I have done a video on Curchase Park near Limerick, and that's not been released, or it's one of the later ones that's been released. But I show in that a Sequoia dendron glyptostryboides, which is a first cousin to this plant that I'm in front of it, because I mentioned this plant. And this is Sequoia dendron giganteum. And you needn't be a scholar of Latin to say and to figure out that giganteum means big. And that's a tree in front of me is a giant redwood. It's conifer, unlike the metasequoia, which is deciduous and drops its leaves and has beautiful autumn colour. This one stays more or less the same. But this tree in front of me, when we're all long gone, and I know I've said this in these videos before, but when we're all long gone, this tree will still be growing happily here in Kilkenny, and it couldn't really have a much better place to grow with the peace and quiet around here. But this will eventually grow to between 50 and 80 metres in height. They are magnificent beasts indeed. Native to California, and I would suspect that one is probably around 20 years old, I would say, at a guess. But it's a beautiful sample, because you can see the central brand, or the central stem, the leader is growing. It's as straight as a die, so this has potential to be a truly magnificent tree. the plant in front of me there, you can see that's probably the ultimate size of a liquid amber. That one in front of me there, right there, you can see with the purple leaf on it. And again here with a simple walk, simple colour. And don't forget when you're designing your own garden that you include plants that will give you this kind of colour in the autumn. You know, it's really easy to do. And you'll get shrubs that will do the same thing. You don't have to have the big trees. I keep on saying this, and as we go around these gardens, we'll see the shrubs and the plants and the herbaceous stuff as they come into flower in the springtime. You'll see the massive variations that you can have and the really spectacular colour you can have without a single solitary flower. So again, just to have one last look at that lovely liquid amber in front of me with the purple leaves. Gorgeous. This is a plant I saw from a distance and I said, is it Paratia persica? And indeed it is. Look at the colours in that. This thing grows massive as well, but you can keep it quite small without losing the effect of the leaf and the stunning autumn colour. That will be just covered in red, oranges and yellows. It is the most magnificent spectacle when it's in its full autumn colour. Paratia persica in the Hamamelis family as well, just like the liquid amber. Oh, well, liquid amber used to be, but isn't anymore. So Paratia persica, Hamamelidaceae family. Will grow huge if you allow it, but I said earlier on not to plant something and then clip it back. But this is probably an example of one where you can grow it perfectly easily and then keep it clipped back, keep it in size. One of my hedges, look at the pyracantha. I don't know what variety this is. And pyre is the Latin for fire, and the common name is fire thorn. So you don't want this one anywhere near your driveway, because if the thorns come off, it'll burst your tyres. Makes a magnificent hedge though, and fills itself with berries once it's kept small. Rose family grows extremely well in the same, and you can have a look at the thorns there. They literally would go through you. They are quite hard and quite difficult to deal with if you have to clip it back. So you will need gloves. You'll only do it once without gloves. So that's my visit, a very, very quick visit to Kilkenny Castle. I've loved it. You can see all the way back along. It goes back to about 21 hectares. What's that, 40 odd acres. And you can be walking around here all day. And there's the view of the castle from the informal gardens, from the so-called parkland. So come down here, have a look, download, bring the kids, download the fact sheets, download the information sheets and walk around. And Kilkenny really, and I'm not just saying this to be nice, Kilkenny is a fabulous place to visit. And the sunny southeast never seems to get the rain that we do over towards the west coast. But look, I wouldn't swap Limerick for the world. My name is Jim, and that's another episode of The Contrary Fuchsia.